Good morning to everyone who are joining us today. Welcome to all school students, teachers, parents from all around Malaysia, not forgetting all UMS students and all UMS staff present in this session today. My name is Brain Justin, and I am currently studied early childhood education in my second year in UMS. So I will be the moderator for today's program. And thank you, and we meet again for today's session of STEM Speaker Series. For those who join us for the first time, the STEM Speaker Series is a co-joint effort with the Faculty of Psychology and Education, University Malaysia Sabah, aimed to deliver unique and interesting STEM topics designed by subject matters experts to increase the interest of school students, teachers, and community alike to venture in the fields of STEM. For any question from audience today, please feel free to drop any question on the chat box right side of this YouTube live session. Please be informed that for today's session, e-certificate will be given to school students and UMS students, but must fill in the form through a QR code which will be shared at the end of the program. So please stay tuned. With us today is Professor Madya, Dr. Bernard Mable Manjaji Matsumoto, is an associate professor at the Borneo Marine Research Institute. She teaches undergraduate marine science subject and currently is lead supervisor to 5 doctorates, 4 masters, and 4 bachelor science students. She has been actively involved in research related to the biodiversity and conservation of marine fishes, particularly sharks and rays in the Indo-West Pacific region for more than 20 years. Suria's story is inspired by her earliest research work in the jungles of Borneo. So without further ado, please welcome Professor Madya Dr. Mable with her topic, Suria the Freshwater Stingray from Kinabatangan. Please be invited, Professor.
Thank you, Brain.
Yes.
Suria was born from its humble beginnings in the highlands. Now Suria confirms which are the dance of a man with great dexterity. Learning and flapping the fins and with to bench outside. Winter fear of Suria's movement. Attention. Eight. Duck bill. What skipper? And the book. Might make you wonder if they are all fishes. Well, These days, however, all the animals have something else. However, they used to go for long swims while foraging. Staying a lot of features in visual life. Spent time by fishing for 3 times and even collided with the boat once. The collision had caused him to cry one of his favorites. Damage from well, one day, students
Hello, everyone. Hello, I'm the moderator for this program. So we already seen the video. Maybe it have lack of sound little bit, but we can see how the stingray and the uniqueness of the uh, fish in the oceans and all kind of that, and the facts about stingray. So if any question regarding to the topics, you can tell us in the live box, live chat, so we can read and for the guest speaker to answer each of your question. Everyone can hear me? So there's a lot of technical problems for today, but it's okay. And we're going to have Q&A questions with Professor Madya, Dr. Bernard, Manjaji, Matsumoto. Interesting name. and with interesting topics. So what I understand about the video is that the stingray ataupun ikan pari kan, ikan pari ini kan, is a very unique haiwan yang unik lah, ikan yang unik. The facts is bila saya tengok kan, ikan pari ini ataupun stingray is actually one of species yang juga kita panggil sebagai ikan juga, fish juga. Biarpun even though kita tengok the stingray is not really represent the shape of a fish, but in fact stingray is a fish, and stingray is one of the species that sangat dekat dengan sharks seperti kita nampak tadi kan. So we have a question. Maybe I can give to Dr. Mable to give some summary, okay, about the video.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. So sorry about the audio and video. It was actually a pre-recorded presentation. So with the technical issues, you can see some of the photos or videos shown, but not the audio. So that's too bad. But I hope when they replay later on, you will be able to listen. Okay, so a summary of the presentation, as explained by Brain earlier at the beginning. This story of Suria is inspired by my own research works when I first started into research, and the work was done in the jungles of Borneo. So that's in the Kinabatangan area. Okay, so this story about Suria, it actually started with introducing who Suria is, the background of her home, which is Kinabatangan, and then a simple introduction to her neighbors in the aquatic or watery habitat. I don't want to be too technical about the presentation, but in the video you could see some facts about Suria, the stingray, the size that she was born, features that she was born with, when the size that she can reach when she is grown up, and she can actually reach almost the size of an elephant if that's a better presentation of size. So that's quite big, and that's quite a feat actually, to reach that size. And but you almost cannot see the stingray because it's underwater. So unlike the elephants, which has, I think, received more publicity. So the story continues. Okay, also, I'm glad that Brain, you notice, I mentioned that the Suria's cousins are the shark and sawfish. I just put a fancy name there, just to put some character. Okay, yeah, they are closely related to the other fishes, but yes, stingrays are fish. So I'd like to pose a question back to the audience. How are they different to the other fishes? The shark, the stingray, and also sawfish. So there's 3 types of what we call as ikan elasmobranch. Okay, so that's, I don't know if it's too scientific for you, technical jargon, but yeah, these three groups of fishes are quite different from the other fish that you see, the bony fish, ikan bertulang. Okay, and the story continues about the concern or worry that they face today, where the quality of the water has is reduced or gone down. Apart from the usual threats that they face, there are humans living along the river. So they are facing fisheries threat, which means that they are constantly facing threats from being caught as food for humans. Okay. So this time they faced with other threats. Actually, it's not a new threat, but it's a threat that's becoming more prevalent. So more and more of these things happening. So it shows a not too drastic approach, I hope, because I don't want to show something too negative. So it shows that the fish or the shark is harmed, okay, by the pollution, water pollution, the habitat, and how they deal with it. And so it's like a message saying how we or you as a future leaders should bear in mind to keep our environment safe, to protect this biodiversity of animals. So, yep, that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mable, for the presentation and the summary. So we got a lot of awesome questions from our audience. Okay. So
You want to read that, Brain, and I'll just respond? Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Right.
So this question from Albert Harry. He said, is the stingray typically found in freshwater?
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
Okay,
it.
so where is the questioner from? Which school? I'd like to know.
He didn't mention here, but
okay, that's all right.
yeah.
Actually, I saw before I respond to that, I saw while browsing when they were playing the video, I saw that we have participants from SK Kinabatangan. So that's very exciting. I'm glad that you are here. So if you have a story to share, please share. Okay, in response to the question, it says, is it typically found in the river? The answer is no. Okay, so as I showed in the presentation, a pretty map of Sabah, the tourist map of Sabah. In all these years of work or research, we've only recorded the freshwater stingray, this particular species, yeah, from the Kinabatangan. The reason, I think, is that because this Kinabatangan is unique. It's very large, and it can actually, it has all the factors that can support this species. And the other rivers in Sabah do not have the same characteristics of the Kinabatangan. So if you're saying, is it typical of other large rivers in the region? The answer is yes. You can find them in big rivers in the other parts of Borneo itself, in Indonesian Borneo, Kalimantan. Actually, in parts of Sarawak, they have large river, and we actually see a lot of this in mainland Indochina, which is Thailand, Cambodia. Yeah, so that's my response.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes. So the stingray is not really typically found in freshwater, but also found in other place also. So the next question is from Chimika. Her YouTube name Chimika. She said, "Hello, I have question for Dr. Mable. Can freshwater stingray crossbreed with saltwater stingray? Wow, interesting question.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to ask again, Shimika, why would you want to crossbreed the stingrays? You can respond that in the chat and I'll read it later. Okay, so the thing is, freshwater fish, or stingray in this case, they stay in the freshwater for a reason, because that's how they are made. So if you look at the body, the system of the what's that system? You must know this. I was going to say, sorry.
Oh, okay. So
But yeah, their system of adapting in the freshwater is unique, so that if you put them in saline water or in the seawater, the probability of them surviving is very low to zero. Okay. This particular species has been found in brackish water or air payau, which is the river mouth. So they can tolerate very low salinity. But if you say totally marine species, then yeah, the answer is no.
oh, okay. So that's interesting. How
This group. That's why I want to talk about this species. What I'd like to know is how many of you are aware of freshwater stingray, sharks, and sawfish before you heard my story. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we go through that. And the next question, this is from Mocha Lime. Soalan, berapa lamakah ikan pari dapat bertahan untuk hidup? Very simple question. How long does the stingray able to live? Yeah.
Okay. Actually, the answer is based on what we know so far. Okay, because all these animals, this species particularly, has been only, if you can say, quite recently studied. Okay, in the past 20 to 30 years, and when they are studied, they are in the wild, not in captivity. Only recently they have been kept in captivity. But in my readings, I have seen or read that a veterinarian in Thailand, she has been studying the same population of freshwater stingray for more than I think like 10 to 15 years. And then in that time, she has actually recaptured a few of the race that she studied all those years back, like 10 years back. And so that tells us this lifespan of ikan pari, freshwater ikan pari, is easily more than 10 years. If you're asking next level of question, at what rate do they grow? So the young or the juveniles, they grow up to 5 centimeters, about this long per year. And then as they reach teenage years, okay, they slow down their growth, just like humans, mammals, and they grow at an average of 3 centimeters per year. So that's what we know so far. So science is always evolving. It depends on what scientists or researchers find out.
Yes, that's true. I agree with that, because sometimes the evolution and some kind of that makes the new findings lagi kan. So it may differ in the future. So it's okay. And the next question, this one I like. She stated, I thought she asked a question. She She just say, "How are you today?" From SK.
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah,
I hope
SK.
you are too.
Yeah, it's from Salawati binti Dab. SK Kuala Papar. Oh, okay, hello Papar.
Okay, yes. Hello, Papa.
Yeah, so lots of people around Sabah maybe here kan. Okay, the next question. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Soalan, bagaimana it's from the same person, Mokalaim. Bagaimana
Okay.
ikan pari betina melahirkan anak?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't sound surprised that a fish can give birth, or are you? Yeah, memang elasmobranchs or ikan, as I mentioned earlier, ikan pari, ikan hiu, and their families, their cousins, relatives, give birth rather than lay eggs. So how is actually they have a similar reproductive system to mammals, where the female adult female, they have a uterus. In fact, they have a pair of uterus. So the milk and the egg or milk is actually transferred physically into a female. So the male of the species have a structure which is a modification of the pelvic fin, and that structure, it resembles the male reproductive organ, which is called the claspus. Okay, a pair of claspus, so that the female do undergo gestation period for about a few months. Okay, for this species, I think it's about like I better not say because I'm not sure, because there's a varying the range is too big. Okay, but yeah, it goes through a gestation period, and then from data, the female actually swims upriver to give birth. So presumably upriver, there's less or fewer predators, because as soon as the pup or baby stingray is born, the mother, there's no care from the parent, the mother or the father. Okay, so they will have to self-defend. And the number of pup that's born is actually very few. It's either 1 or 2, but never more. So this is also simply due to the size, the sheer size. And when they are born, as shown, but you couldn't hear the audio, they're actually quite big, 30 centimeters across the disc. So the disc is round shape. Yeah, like a plate, almost the size of your dinner plate, or
Wow.
slightly bigger.
Oh.
Yeah. So they actually a miniature adult, complete form of adult, just that they are small. And with that small size, they have to find their own food, defend themselves from the predators. Okay, and so it's fewer predators upstream, and as they grow, they migrate downstream and along the river. Yes.
Wow. So much independence for stingray.
That's right.
Yes, very interesting fish to be researched. And this is from one thing.
Okay.
She said, "Is there any hybrid stingray?" Hybrid stingray. What is this?
Yeah, hybrid is when you take two different species of stingrays and artificially try to reproduce them, usually in the lab or in the aquarium.
Oh.
Okay, I think this relates to question earlier by who was that just now?
Oh, the
Yeah.
freshwater.
Freshwater and marine. So
yeah.
when you take two different species and you try to produce a new species, not a natural species, so that's hybrid. Okay, so if you take two different species of stingray, yes, you may produce a hybrid species. So I think that your next question, is there more than one species of freshwater stingray in the Kinabatangan?
Yeah.
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 But actually, all these years we only found one species. There are different species in South America, and they are different species, different genus, means a different line of family. But they are stingrays, so I suppose if you try to hybridize them in the lab or in the aquarium, you may have done so. I just want to say the stingray species, freshwater stingray species which is originally or naturally found in South America, has been commercialized extensively. I think in the beginning, it's as one of the conservation measures, so that you don't rely on the wild to supply demand for the aquarium trade. And the success story is, I think there's a few entrepreneurs in Thailand. If you go, some of the aquarium shops that you go in Sabah, I've seen in Sandakan or in Kota Kinabalu, KK, you can actually sometimes see this smaller freshwater stingrays. The backs have very nice round or spotty patterns. So I guess if that's small, yes, it's good for aquarium. But if you're talking about this giant freshwater stingray for your aquarium, then don't even think about it. You may see in the large aquarium, there's one in KL, what's that name? KLIA or KLCC aquarium. Yeah, and elsewhere, but not as a home pet. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, also this species actually is have an endangered status, meaning that any reduction of the population will endanger the status of the species. There's only a few, the number known in the wild is very few. So this is all the reason why we need to protect the habitat, protect the Kinabatangan, which is the only river in Sabah where they are found. Yeah.
For species, we have to protect them to save our planet, kan? Because if not, our ecosystem also will be impacted, and it will surely make our planet become worse, kan? So
that's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of animals also in the past years just pupus, kan, extinct, and we're very sad about that. And for this interesting species, we hope that it may grow, kan? We can protect. So thank you for the question, for the answer. Very interesting answers about the hybrid. And yeah, I think if we hybrid the species of the stingray, the life it's not long lah, kan? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a hybrid species. Well, actually in nature this happens too. A hybrid species is thought to be not a viable species. However, with the advancement of techniques in the breeding techniques, yeah, scientists are actually recovering or discovering a lot of ways to make the species viable or hybrid species viable. But then again, that's talking about mixing matching species for no particular reason other than just curiosity. It's not a proper or good approach to conservation work.
Yes, yes, that's true. Okay, so we go to the next question. It's getting fun. I like this topic so much. So there's
It's time though.
yeah, so this topic is so interesting. So Nathaniel Santana from All Sense. Oh, All Sense. The question is, do stingray need to constantly move like sharks to breathe?
Okay, Nathaniel, how are you? All Saints is somewhere in KK, yeah? Okay, so if you've seen the photo of or if you've seen a real stingray, you will notice that just behind the eye, the flat body like a disc, yeah? Behind the eyes, they have a pair of eyes. There's a hole, if you notice that, that's called spiracle. So there's a reason for that organ to be there, because as you see, the stingrays are always, it's a bottom dwelling animal. When they feed, they actually attach themselves to the bottom of the river or the sea. In this case, it's the bottom of the river, and that's usually sediments or muddy bottom. But yes, they need to constantly breathe. And during feeding, they will use these spiracles, which has a valve, so it can open and shut, okay, to control flow of water, and also what goes in, the filter out the dirt and other debris. So when they're resting, they also attach themselves to the bottom. So they use these spiracles and so that they don't have to constantly move. Is that? I hope that's clear.
Yes, that's very clear.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so we got a lot of questions.
You have to choose one. A few.
Yeah, I have a few. I think there's a lot of question that same. And this one maybe okay, this one. Selwyn Thai. The question is every stingray poisonous? Yeah.
Okay. I think you mean when you say poisonous. Okay, in my talk, if you those who have heard about it, I mentioned there's a barb. Sometimes it's called a sting, or what is it? Duri on the tail. It's whip-like tail. So this barb, if you have a microscopic look at it, you take a microscope or a hand lens and view at it really close, you will notice the edge of this barb is not smooth like a knife, like your kitchen knife, but rather it's more like a saw, macam gergaji. Okay, so that gives an extra, what should I say? Extra sting if you get inflicted. So this thing actually cause extra nasty cut to any wound, and that is what caused the wound to be extra how shall I say, extra nasty, which can cause secondary infection. So not toxin from the sting itself, but from the microorganisms, the nasty microorganisms, bacteria, the dirt in the water that can enter the wound and cause cause the sting to become very bad.
Oh, yes. So the stingray could kill people with the
Okay.
poison.
you may have heard like a few years ago, a famous conservationist, if you like, or TV
Oh,
producer, TV show. I
yes.
think Steve, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he died from a sting to his heart. The story is that from that stingray, it has a really, really big barb. I think up to a foot, which is like 12 inches, or how many cm is that? Close to like more than 20 centimeters. So at that length, and if you see the sting, it's actually very hard, the structure of the sting. It doesn't break easily. So if that puncture your skin and that deep, if it happened to be your heart, then can cause a cardiac arrest, and by that it can kill you. Or if the stab wound is that deep, the blood loss can cause death, but not from the so-called toxin of the sting itself. So unlike jellyfish, yes, jellyfish, they have these little stingers inside each of these when they sting you with their tentacles. So they have what's called nematosis. So inside each of these one have a toxin that is released into the skin or under the skin, into the muscular layers of the whoever got stung. But for stingrays, it's due to the wound caused by this caused by the stinger, the barb.
Yes. So it's dangerous
Yeah, it's still
to,
dangerous.
kan?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
naturally, if unprovoked, they're not harmful as
Oh.
the stingray and most of the animals in the underwater or on land. If you don't provoke them, you don't taunt them, they won't cause you any concern. They shouldn't cause you any concern. So it's best to leave them alone. Naturally, these animals is just self-defense for them.
Right, right. Yeah, self-defense. When they feel endangered,
Then
so they will try to protect
I think
themselves,
just
kan?
like yourself, isn't it? If you feel
Yes.
threatened, you will
Yeah.
find ways to protect yourself.
Yes, yes. Because there's a question from Alia.
Hmm?
She said, when we dive, when we dive, is what is it that we shouldn't do that could harm a stingray? Oh, this one is a good question. Shouldn't harm the stingray? How?
Okay.
Yeah,
One thing, just dive in with yourself. Don't wear a glove, so that
yeah.
if you wear a glove, that will make you want to touch things. But if you don't wear a pair of glove, that means you're unlikely to hold something because you're afraid that you might hurt your hand, right? And yeah, just I think when you say diving, so I suppose it's scuba diving. Your scuba diving course instructor should be able to tell you what to do or what not to do underwater as a responsible diver. But yeah, just do the what do you call loss of word. Yeah, just try not to provoke animals. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, can we go near the stingray when we dive?
Usually when you're like a meter away, they will sense you and they'll
Oh,
swim away.
oh,
Unless like you've seen probably also shows in areas where they have been trained to be fed by the protectors of that area. So as probably as a tourism area. So these tamed animals, they are used to presence of humans, then that's why they don't swim away. But naturally, yeah, they will swim away.
yes, yes. That's right. Because they are endangered species. Maybe they want to save just species kan, just self. Yeah. So this is a interesting question from Ria Ayumi. Oh, Ria Ayumi, class 4 Utarit from SK Kota Kinabatangan. Oh, this is from Kinabatangan.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's Form 4, I suppose, yeah?
SK, I think SK primary
SK?
4. Yeah,
Oh, primary 4. Okay, that's
Primary 4.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
what's the
interesting.
question?
The question is, do stingrays sleep?
Yes, all animals, you and me, we need to rest our body so that we can
Yeah.
recover from the day's work. So
Yeah.
short answer is yes.
Yes. How long they sleep?
Oh, okay. Depend, I suppose. Yeah, I really don't know, but I'd say anyway, like quarter hours. If you have 24 hours a day, a few hours of sleep. I don't think that they have the sleep rhythm of humans, though. Okay. As you might know, some animals are nocturnal, meaning that they get active at night and sleep throughout the day.
Oh.
So that depends on the food availability usually. So the food is active at night and then they get up at night to feed as well. But for stingrays, if you've seen them in aquariums, yeah, they're probably active during the day. That's the visiting hours. But yeah, I don't know exactly how many hours of sleep they need.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe need to make more research kan about
That's
that.
right.
Yes.
So when you have a chance, you come to UMS and conduct the research. I'll supervise your work.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Very interesting. And this Justin Leong said, saya suka makan stingray. Yes, stingray very delicious kan?
Especially the barbecue stingray.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
This
advice is try to know the status of what you put in your system, the status of the species. If you know it's very well is endangered or the species extinction status, then avoid it. Okay? And then tell your friends, tell your families, oh, this fish is going to be extinct if you continue to love it, although it tastes so yummy. So that's one of the message I hope to relay from my story. Yeah, you can't tell people to stop overnight what they're doing, but with such story, I hope that you can understand the predicament, the situation of this species. They're just trying to survive as well, and they do have their purpose in the ecosystem. So if they're not there, like you mentioned earlier on, Brain, the ecosystem will collapse.
Yes.
Because they cannot provide the ecosystem service that they're supposed to. Why?
Yes.
Because of human greed, human just fish out just for the sake of mau makan.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's right.
Yes. Even though it's delicious, but when the
There are
ecosystem,
so many species available. So we're lucky in this part of the world, kan?
yeah.
You read that it's the highest biodiversity, marine biodiversity in the region, in the Coral Triangle area, even maybe in the world, the
Yes.
tropical areas. So choose species that reproduce, have a short lifespan, reproduce a lot per gestation, and not the ones that's already rare and endangered. Yep.
Yes, that's true. But
Okay.
sometimes people like rare things, rare food.
But that's the thing. We're here, and we're already aware. So I hope that after this you will apply your knowledge rather than put it under your pillow and then sleep on it, and then next day you go look for something endangered to consume, and then that's it.
Yes, yes, that's true. This is very good for our awareness too. And yeah, Lots of questions.
Still? Okay, so I think we have a cap of time, isn't it? We have to
Yes,
stop at what, 11 or so?
I think 11. So maybe 1 or 2 question is good.
Or maybe I should add, I don't know if you have, you can either forward the questions later to the Urus Setia of the STEM series or email me. You can go to UMS website and look me up under Borneo Marine Research Institute. My email is all there for everyone to see, and you can contact me from there. Just email. Okay. All right. So
Okay.
next question, Brain, probably the last question. Yeah.
Okay, the last question. All right. So for the last question, I take this one lah. From Albert Harry. Albert Harry, do the factors of quality of water as well as depth and width of the river plays a big role for the stingray existence in freshwater here in Sabah? How big is the population in Kinabatangan River? Yes.
Okay, that's a mouthful. Yeah. Let's say, I think the first part of the question I've somewhat answered. So as I mentioned earlier, if I'll repeat it again, the Kinabatangan in Sabah is unique. There's no other river like Kinabatangan in Sabah. It's huge. It runs the entire length of the east coast of Sabah, like right in the middle of Sabah. And then it slowly meanders around the Kinabatangan floodplain out into the Sulu Sea. So I've shown this in the presentation later. I hope you can try to revisit this link, and then hopefully the video will play smoothly.
Yes.
So that's about the Kinabatangan. It's the only river with such characteristics, and it's deep, it's wide. The length, if I'm not mistaken, is actually well over 500 kilometers. So for humans to drive from KK to Sandakan, for example, it takes like 5 to 6 hours. Okay, so, but that entire length for the freshwater stingray to swim is like normal for them. Okay, they need that large area basically to survive. What was the next last part of the upper question?
The last part of the question. Where is it? Oh,
sorry.
How big is the population in
Yeah.
Kinabatangan River? Yeah.
Okay. During all of my all the time that I have gone to Kinabatangan, I say less than 20 tales of individuals I've seen. So if less than 20, what does that tells you? It's very low indeed, isn't it?
Yes.
Very,
yes.
very low.
Very
So
low.
like, yeah, they are quite elusive. Talking to the population, living along the Kinabatangan, they will tell me that they can see this freshwater stingray only certain time of the year. That's when they easily see this stingray surface to or beach themselves along the riverbank. But other times they just don't see. Yeah. But whenever I've gone there or received photos from contacts living in the Kinabatangan, so all these years, yeah, less than 20. So that really tells me that highly, very low and highly endangered. So that's why the status of them is like, yeah, really threatened, and coupled with the quality of the water in the Kinabatangan going down. So yeah, it's not viable. It's not. It's becoming hard for the stingrays and other species to survive in polluted waters.
Yes. Wow, that's a very, very awesome presentation and answer for each question, Doctor. And wow, Nico Chan said, I love this topic. Love this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mokalem also said that me too. Everyone like this topic, Doctor. Very much.
Okay,
It's
come to
yeah,
UMS then.
yeah. Come to MS. Yeah. Everyone is very interactive in the chat room, and
I'm so glad.
yeah, there's actually a lot of interesting question that they ask. There's one question that um it's like um I I just feel amazed by this question. He said, "Do stingray
Okay.
can live in the land?"
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You mean out of water or
yeah, yeah.
way up in the apa?
I think
Out
out
of
of
water?
water. Yeah.
I think for a while, yes, like I wouldn't say up to 1 minute, but for a few seconds, I've seen stingrays, the large stingrays actually beach themselves trying to catch their favorite food, which is happen to be, what do you think?
Oh.
The udang.
Oh, udang.
These prawns, they're so very small. Not, we have the udang gala in the river, but also another kind of pennied shrimp, the one that you see in the along the bay, along the coastal areas in the sea. But these are like low salinity species of udang. So what happens is the stingray can actually sort of like chase them out of the water and beach them, and it will just I'm going to say nibble. So actually attach themselves on the beach where they have chased away these shrimps out of the water and then just munch on these
Oh.
shrimps. Yeah, that's how they feed. And then they will retreat back into the water.
Oh, so just for a while lah, kan?
Because they need water. So if you take them out of the water for long, they will dehydrate and then die.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
So that was
Everyone,
supposed to be last question,
yeah,
kan, tadi?
last question. Because there's a lot of question, very interactive
Okay,
lah.
Brain, if you have the time, why don't you compile all this into like a FAQ and
Yes.
then just email them to me. I'll try to respond.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
boleh kan? Yeah, this is
Yeah.
getting interesting, but unfortunately, we have a time cap here.
Yes, really. And yeah, everyone say thank you and useful
Thank you for
information.
listening.
Yeah. Yes. And they look forward to visit the Sungai Kinabatangan one day.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you again, all
Dr.
the
Mable.
students as well
Yeah,
as
thank you.
teachers. Terima
Yes.
kasih.
Yeah. So we must protect our environment, we must protect our animals, our planet. We heard about the rhinos, right? Already extinct last year, Fatu. The last rhino in the Sumatra.
Yeah, I read that it's
Yeah.
very recent.
Yeah, very recent. So RIP rhino, they said. And so
We don't want, hopefully we won't say RIP to this species as well.
yeah, don't RIP stingray kan. Okay, so thank you, Doctor,
Okay,
for
bye-bye.
answering. Yeah, bye-bye. And for all the audience today, for your participation, we look forward for the next STEM speaker series scheduled on the 6th of August by Dr. Cor Ben Hock with his topic nutrition and COVID-19. So this is about the pandemic, regarding the pandemic also. So it was a pleasure to have all of you. And yeah, with this, we conclude the webinar. Thank you and see you again. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. So we'll have e-certificate here. You must scan this QR code